I've been extremely busy lately, especially because I'm still working with schools and stuff, and we're still working towards the final season. So I'm not really available that often to make videos. But I thought this one was really important, and it basically clarifies what I was trying to say in my last video with Ryzen. So Zen 2 was announced, and unfortunately for a lot of people, it doesn't hit 5 gigahertz. And a lot of the rumors were not true, and this is what I was trying to tell people. It is still a very good deal to go out there and buy a 2700X or something like a 2600X. You're not gonna get a good deal with Ryzen 7, or Zen 2, and it's probably the good deals that exist now are probably gonna run out, and you're gonna have to pay the extra premium for not that much more performance. Yes, it kind of matches an i9 in performance, but it's really not there. And I still feel like if you overclock that i9, if you have one, it's still going to beat the new Ryzen 9 processors that were announced. It's simply just the way it's always been with AMD. I already foresaw this. AMD tends to overhype just about all their products, and they for some reason set the bar for themselves so high with the hype. And I think this is partially because they have a very, very, very enthusiastic fan base. There's nothing wrong with that, but the issue with this is when people start to really believe what's being all the rumors, they automatically are going to assume, well, yeah, they have to be true, and then we're going to get this amazing product. Let's wait for it. And the issue with most PC products is that when a new iteration comes out, it's usually never going to be, especially nowadays, that huge of an improvement. Like, yes, when Ryzen first launched, it was a huge improvement, but it wasn't really a huge improvement in clock speed or in IPC or anything like that. It was mostly because we can finally get 8 cores on your basically consumer side pretty cheaply, and that revolutionizes the market. But right now with you're talking only a 12-core CPU, and they're basically mostly focusing that basically most consumers are just going to buy the 8-core CPUs. There's really nothing here that's going to be really amazing for most people. If you already have Zen 2, you don't need to buy this. In fact, if you have Zen 2, you probably don't have to buy a CPU until the AM4 platform's already changed. So I still recommend people, if you can still find even a 1700 for cheap, by all means, buy that. Especially if you're trying to get a good deal. But there's really, I got really a lot of hate from some people who said, but you can buy in a few months 6 cores for like $100. I kind of knew that wasn't going to happen. And that didn't happen. And it's probably not going to happen. You're not going to be able to save tons of money on a much faster CPU for less money than what you're going to see it right now on sale. Because it doesn't make any business sense, and people need to realize that they're not going to try to lose money this way. They're just going to give you an incremental upgrade, like always, and it's going to be better, but it's not for everybody. And here's the thing: if you look at their Navi launch, they compared it to a NVIDIA 2070, RTX 2070, and that pretty much tells you that maybe it doesn't perform better than that simply because your CPU that you're getting will be bottlenecked by that GPU if it were faster. And so you have to really think about it. You're not going to probably be beating Intel yet with their i9 processors. That's never been the point of this. It's basically been a price to performance thing as well. So even with the thing is, even with the current CPU, if you are interested in Zen 2, you can wait a little bit longer and buy it. I don't recommend it for the price, especially not $499 for 12 cores, simply because I don't think most people will be able to utilize those 12 cores in a way that's meaningful, especially compared to, say, something like Intel's i9. But the reason that you may want that 12 cores one is simply because it has a slightly higher clock speed, and maybe it will be overclockable. Like I've been hearing possibly that it'll overclock to 5 gigahertz. I highly doubt it, because the architecture is kind of the same as before, so you're bound to get something that will overclock just about the same as before. So I'm guessing maybe at most you'll get 4.8. I don't know. And that's if you're lucky. From what I've always understood from Ryzen is that they don't tend to overclock as high as they can boost on some CPUs. So you may be able to get 4.5 on your 4.6 gigahertz. And also, just to point out, last time they said their Ryzen 2 CPU, the 2700X, went up to 4.65 gigahertz, but it was mostly always around 4. Not 6.5, 4.3.5. and it usually only overclocks to 4.2 gigahertz. So I really don't expect it to go way higher than that. So I'm guessing their last time was 4.3, and then it was basically just 4.25. So I'm expecting this to be 4.55 at best. So you're really not gonna get something that's just going to be mind-blowingly better. Again, if you waited for Zen 2 and you still think it's a good buy, go ahead and buy it because that's why you were waiting. So like, you'll be disappointed if you don't get it now. But to those who decide to buy earlier, thank you. Especially if you understood that was what I was trying to warn people about. Is that if you upgrade it, you're not gonna regret it. Simply because you're not even if this was 5 gigahertz and you were buying just for mid range, you still aren't going to notice a difference in performance. But this was more in line with what, like, if you saw logical explanation, not those crazy rumors that were coming out for AMD that it was going to be 5 gigahertz and it was going to be cheap. Like, if you were listening to the logical rumors that people, even I remember hearing these from like right before even Zen 2 was something that was really heavily in development, people were assuming that it was going to have, say, around a 15% IPC increase, and everyone already had calculated that that's around 4.5, 4.6, and that's what we got gigahertz-wise, so that always made sense. So just be aware, when it comes to technology or anything that is tech, usually it is the norm to expect it to be just an incremental update. Unless they're giving you some highly new platform, which they didn't do in this situation. Don't expect something to be far more powerful. And you should be more expecting something that's just mildly incremental. Now, I'm not saying that Ryzen's the Zen 2 is going to be bad in any way. It's not. It's going to be a competitor to the i9. But if you bought the i9 when it came out, you're pretty much still ahead compared to everyone else, and you will likely remain that way, especially if you overclock your i9. Your Ryzen 3700X or the Ryzen 9 3900X will probably not be able to beat it in gaming performance. In other things, it might, but this is going to be the situation with even the original 2700X going forward. You have some applications that just simply work better. They'll perform better with more cores and this and that, but you still, with Intel, seeing as it's still the majority platform, will outperform it on several things. It's just the way it's always going to be until things change. And maybe AMD becomes the majority platform, but we're not there yet. We probably might never be, so it's hard to tell. So honestly, if you're still on the fence on what you should buy, if you want to save money, try to get yourself a really cheap AMD CPU, original Ryzen, or a Ryzen 2 when it goes on sale. Will they go further down in sale? That's a good question. It's hard to say because like probably people will start buying them more now that they don't no longer have to wait, and they might snatch up all the good deals. Right now you have deals with multiple games coming bundled with it that basically make the CPU almost extremely cheap, especially if you want those games. So I would say buy now and don't regret it, because you're getting something now, and that's a huge benefit. If you're waiting, especially like I was saying in the last video, if you're waiting, it's kind of stupid at this point to wait, because you already have 8 cores and 16 threads, and that's basically going to be mainstream for quite a while. Games are not going to use those yet, and you probably don't need more than 8 cores unless you're really, like, you're sure that you're really need it because you're creating content and you can tell that your time is very valuable. That's a very, very small amount of people, and it's not the majority, so you shouldn't even be considering it. Like, if you go Intel and you have the 8 cores, you can still stream on that. You don't need more than that. And if you do need more than that, you will know. You will know. But honestly, just buy something that you can get for cheap. 6 cores if you can, 8 cores if you find it. Just be around that area, simply just because that's where games are starting to use it. If that's what you care about, then do that. You still are good with a 4-core 8-thread processor for the foreseeable future, although that is changing, so keep that in mind. But if you're upgrading, buy what's cheap if you really care. If you really care about saving money, but don't wait. Unless you know there's some architectural change that is occurring, like when the Core War started, when Ryzen first came out, I didn't recommend people go out there and upgrade their Intel CPUs from a 4-core to another 4-core CPU simply because you're buying something that's going to be obsolete in the near future. But if you're just buying 8 cores and you were hoping for 16 cores, at this point you're kind of in an iffy situation because Intel is still at 8 cores, and the rumors are that they're moving on to 10 cores. And when you're in that kind of vicinity of like what the rumors are saying, that basically you're not getting something that's gonna overperform. If you get 16 cores, it's very doubtful if one platform, especially one that's not completely mainstream, has 16 cores, and many products will use those 16 cores, especially games. So with that in mind, you should, in the future, if you're waiting, especially if you need a PC, or if you're just waiting or gonna wait for a long time, unless something revolutionary is happening in the market, like when Ryzen came out, I don't think people should wait. Buy what you can buy at the time, especially if they go on sale, like they did just a few months ago with Ryzen 7, the 2700 or in the 2000 series. If you're waiting and you're thinking that you're gonna get a really good deal, like you're gonna buy you're gonna go with $100 and you're gonna buy 6 cores and 12 threads, you're kind of being delusional with that. And that always kind of tends to be the case with these things. And another thing that people need to start to realize it, when AMD has rumors, if you haven't been multiple times already disappointed because the rumors were way overhyped, I don't know what to tell you because like this has happened so often now. It happened with Polaris kinda. It especially happened with Vega, and here we are with Navi and Ryzen Zen 2. They were extremely overhyped, and the rumors were kind of really out there and just did not match at all with the expectations. Granted, people are not really considering that we're on 7 nanometers, and 7 nanometers 4.6 gigahertz can really pretty much be a match for the 5 gigahertz on 14 nanometers, so keep that in mind. The rumors may have not been extremely accurate, but they were accurate in some form. But the thing with is that just the normal consumer is going to not understand that, and they're going to go, the rumors were wrong, they were overhyped, and they're going to be disappointed, which is the case with most people at this point that I've seen. They're somewhat disappointed. This wasn't what they were expecting. So, again, don't wait. Don't buy into the rumors, especially from AMD, because for some reason the rumors are just out there. There are rumors with some video game companies that always end up to be true just because there's nothing to hide there. And with other companies, it may be the case as well. Like, I don't think any of the rumors from Intel, for instance, are lying. There's nothing in there to indicate that it would be beyond belief. In fact, it's actually kind of looks bad for Intel. So I honestly would say, yeah, that's probably true. You're going to get a 10 nanometers I mean, not 10 nanometers, 10 cores, 14 nanometers plus, whatever. And it's going to be at 5 gigahertz. That's expected. Okay, so we're going to expect that. That's obviously going to happen. If it doesn't, I don't think anyone would be disappointed at this point, so whatever. But when the rumor is way overhyped, try to just become logical in that situation and say, like, well, is this likely to happen just because they're saying it's going to happen? Chances are it's not. Anyways, I hope that people understood that. I hope that people, like, in the future, when if I release a video like last time, I really just hope that people are more open-minded and they don't just blatantly complain and tell me, but the rumors, like, they're saying this, it's obviously going to happen. Like, I got several posts like that last time, and I got emails from people saying, like, oh, you're obviously wrong, because, like, why are you gonna buy now if you can wait, like, a month and get everything for super cheap? Obviously isn't going to happen. It makes no business sense. So just logically think about it. If you're in that position, even if the price was, like, the rumors are true, you still could have gotten a deal, and you could have been enjoying that PC that you built 2 months ago instead of like you were basically paying a premium, say, of just $200 so that you can enjoy it 2 months early. It's kind of worth it in some situation, but waiting 2 months to save $200 and then not getting it or possibly risking it is not worth it, especially if you needed that computer. It's just time wasted, time lost, and you don't know if you do have the money then or now. Or not. Like, you can lose. Like, what happens in the vicinity of a few months could basically mean that you end up with nothing. So just, if you have the money and you're going out to buy something, honestly, I recommend buy it now and don't ever think about it. Anyways, I'm signing out. I rambled on for too long here, so I hope you enjoyed it. But if you want to send more replies and stuff, just post it down below. I'll reply to whatever. Have a good day, guys. I'm signing out. Bye bye.